Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment. Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course. This is with our beautiful goddess sister, Laurie Reyon, who is here telling us how we can discover our galactic lineage and connect to star family. This is one of the most asked questions on our platform. Where am I from? And so we're here to discuss how we can decode our galactic lineage. Hi, Laurie. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Loren. It's very exciting to be here with this topic. So pleased that we can discuss this today.
This is a fascinating topic, and it goes back into the history of our Earth. So let's start there. Can you share a little bit about our Earth history and why this is important for us to remember now?
Absolutely. First thing I want to say, though, is the information that I share in this class and with personal clients comes through my ability to channel the ancient being known as Seth. And some of you know that my sacred partner is Master Cat Puda. I think at some point she might make an appearance here, but she carries that lineage, and we're telepathic. I'm an animal communicator. And so the information that I'm sharing is so, for me, warm to my heart, and it's so trustworthy because it comes through the vessel of my beloved cat, who is just pure love. She's just pure love. And she's traveled with me all over the world, really, for 14 years now, helping people, and the energy of Seth in her higher being came through in 2012. And it came through actually with other people that also channel her, that know her well, and they felt the voice change, and we felt this empowering information come through, which would be like, if you're talking to your soul or higher self, this high energy comes in that's just pure love, but it's also pure, pristine history in the sense of the way it's presented. It's not biased, like this is the good guys and this is the bad guys. It's just straight out. This is how it happened. This is where you're at. This is your part in it. And the other people that are involved in it, being what we call star family, is no one's from Earth, okay? That's probably the most important thing. Sometimes people think they are. You're here on assignment. This is a temporary assignment. Seth always says you're just camping. So enjoy the camping, But the family that you come from in most recent history, you may have lived in many planets and many different galaxies over time, but where you were before you came to Earth is significant from Seth's perspective in connecting to the truth of who you are. And what you put in place as far as what we would call your life mission, your divine blueprint. And all of that information is stored in the Akash, which is the recorded journey of your soul over every lifetime. And it's all available to you. But it's available to you as you raise your vibration, as you come into a place of being able to live in your heart and be able to understand that everything has purpose. Everything is, in some sense, a creation or a co-creation of you as an individual, as an awakening human, combined with the energy of your soul that's giving permission for this. So whatever happens from the galactic lineage is definitely connected to your soul. Your soul knows all about it. It's not like anything is hidden from you. But when we come to Earth and we have this experience, we put ourselves to sleep. We go into a state of amnesia. And that's, we'll talk a little bit about in the course, which is part of the reason you're here, is to experiment with the vibration of love from a place of density, which we call the 3D. We call the third dimensional energy. Okay? So when we rise up out of that, which we can do while living in 3D, we come into a higher vibration. A lot of us call it now 0 point, where we're able to balance the male and female energies in our bodies. We're able to come into our heart and sort of shut the mind down. So the analytical process doesn't get in the way of what's really coming through the heart, that you're able to come into a place of purity and truth, and you're able to apply the vibration of love and compassion to every situation. At that point, you're able to access these records, so to speak. You're able to hear that which has maybe been hidden from you before. And thank God we have beautiful angels and ascended masters and souls that are just dedicated, so to speak, to the service of humanity, and that is Seth. Seth first, in our time period, came through Jane Roberts in channeling with Seth Speaks book, and they're very popular today. They're all about self-empowerment, and everything with the aspect of Seth that I work with is the same way. This is all to empower you. It's not to tell you that you're right or wrong or you're better than anyone else. It's simply to bring you to the vibration of your own true, authentic self. Isn't that exciting? It's pretty exciting. Yeah. So back to more specific question, if you don't mind, please say again what
Yes, thank
you'd
you.
like.
I love what you said there, that where we come from before this earthly journey is
Mm-hmm,
important because
mm-hmm.
it sets us up for our own lessons. So how would we begin to discover those traits about ourselves? We would ask through the heart space, and we just
Yes,
have to listen to the
yes,
answer.
yes. And when you come into your heart and you open what I call sacred space around you, you set up an energy of love and light around you so that no other energies can enter. You can feel very safe, you can feel very protected, and you can feel very empowered. At that point, in our class, we access, of course, the wisdom of the Master Seth, and Seth guides us into deeper ways of being in the heart, different processes, but probably most importantly, takes us on these various journeys. And one of them is to travel into our galaxy, into the different layers or dimensions where all of these different starseed beings happen. So when Atlantis fell, which is about 12, 13,000 years ago, um, our vibration fell with it. Our vibration came into a 3D, even 2D, some of us. And we lost our ability to use our gifts, which is clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, and we had to reclaim that. We even had to learn about fire and such things again to rebuild our DNA. We were destranded down to 2 strands, which is really just the energy of survival. That's all we had, except for a few beings that were ascended masters, were able to rise up. They went up into an earthship and they were able to maintain their vibration and then it eventually help us recede. But that's where we're coming back from. So it's important to remember that, and it's important to remember that this happened in our Earth time in a time period where we're now coming out of. We're healing that. And Seth goes on to say that about 200, actually in 4,000 years ago now, the Earth was reseeded by 12 different emissaries of light from different worlds of form. And so when I talk about moving out into the galaxy and I talk about going into different dimensional layers, Seth says that these are the starseed family members that want to help you remember who you are. And that starts with going up to the next conscious dimension, which is the 5th dimension. I'm sure you've heard of it. That's where we're headed to for the new Earth and for our ascension energies. We find the Pleiadians, and the Pleiadians help to reseed our hearts. They're our brothers and sisters of light. They're here in every possible way. Some people are having experiences with them in form through their light bodies or emissaries that have come. Some of you know San Joss. He's one of the Earth emissaries. He's contacting a lot of people, and he's certainly contacted me. And we've had these wonderful, heartfelt discussions and interesting things where the Pleiadians talk about what happens on their world and how they interact with us, and how that when we do leave the Earth plane, we will actually pass through. We'll go through the Pleiadian system. We'll actually have sort of parents there for a while we remember how to live in 5D, because any kind of negative thoughts or judgmental thoughts would literally destroy their world, because it's just love and perfection. So we'll go back through there. In fact, Puda even says, or Seth, Puda being the cat, looks up and always waves and says, "Wave, you're on a Pleiadian nanny cam. They're watching you. And they're waiting to see how they might come and help you, how they might assist you through your dream state, in your meditations, or when in a way that they wouldn't frighten you, because they very much want to help you." So that's one of the first lessons, is connecting into that. Then we move into the 6th dimension, which is Sirian information. And if you look at ancient history from the Egyptians back, all of the ancient cultures connected to what we call the dog star or the Sirian star, which also connects to the Orion belt as a guidepost. Seth explains that the energy of the planet Sirius B is actually where the dolphins and whales are from. That's where they're considered these master geneticists, where they help design human form. So when you leave, well, I'm just going to use the word heaven, you leave the higher realms, you have permission to incarnate into human form. You've sort of set up your blueprint. You've chosen your mother and father. Everything is set for you to come into form. You go through the Sirian star system. And this is where the body that you're about to incarnate into is literally laid out. It's like a blueprint is built for you. And that's, in the ancient texts, they say you were fired in the etheric. That happens there. And this is where we first connect, of course, to the Sirian people, and including the dolphins and whales, who are upright beings. They have 5 fingers, even now, in their pectoral fins. And they're these great design experts, genetic experts, if you will. And all of that gets set in motion. Sirius A is where beings are designed that are not going to come into duality, where they're not going to have the same experiment that we're having. They're coming in support or service of humanity. And that would be the dogs and the cats and the horses and animal-type beings, angelic-type beings. They also receive a body. It's considered a light body, but it's done on a different planet than Sirius B. Sirius B is a water planet. It's very much like Earth, but it's about 6 times larger. So we go there in our journey, and we meet the Sirians, and some of you will find out that you are Sirian. Very exciting to meet them. And then the next step up is Andromeda. We go to the Andromeda system, and we find out about sound and light and color. Also, the Andromeda Stargate is a very high vibrational people that have a form, but it's very much a light form. And let's see, then we go up to the Orion system, which is 8th dimensional energy. The Orion system is where divine government exists. Sort of our Washington, D.C., so to speak, the capital of the galaxy, where there's these beautiful institutions of art and technology and mastery, where all different types of civilizations come and they experience connecting to the Orion system and to the Orion people. And the Orion system is also where lots of wars happened. I'm sure you've read about that in different books, or you've heard about it. Those wars are over now, and the wars were actually over the nebula behind the left star on the Orion belt, which is, let's see, El Nilham, El Mitak, and Mintaka. So behind Mintaka is this beautiful nebula with this beautiful stardust, and this is actually the energy that's used to create the human form. There's even a scientist on Earth a few years back, I should have looked up his name, where he examined that stardust, which he was able to, the chemical composition, and he said, this has to be where connected to human form because it has all of the elements of the human body in it. So it was warred over, literally, to get that stardust, which is the consciousness, what we'll call from creator, that is seeded into the human form in the Sirian system, and then we're born into the Earth plane. So it's pretty exciting to see this difference, in what the star systems do, who they are, and how they connect to us. Also in the Orion system, they set up what we consider linear time. Linear time does not exist in the other dimensions. It's part of the play here, part of like the train running down the track, so that we can have a past and a present and a future, which doesn't exist in the other worlds. Time is happening all at the same time, which makes time travel possible. So that's kind of exciting. So there's a lot to share. There's a lot to share.
A lot to share. There's so many questions that come in here. Are the star-seeded families, the star families, in other dimensions then? Yes, they're living in higher realms. They've already ascended, and Earth was left behind?
Well, no, not left behind. It just hasn't ascended yet. Never left behind. We're still processing.
Were we going to ascend at one point, but Atlantis, it kept us from ascending? Well,
that's one of the things, yeah. We were set in motion to ascend more than once. Probably the most recent situation where we were set to ascend was when we took on what are called the laggard souls. And this would be the remnants of when Mars was pretty much destroyed. Only life that can exist now is inside the planet. Because of warring that went on, and also the explosion of Maldek, which was a satellite. Now it's where the asteroid belt is. So those souls are some of the laggard souls that we call, that were very lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of being immersed in darkness. That doesn't mean they're not loved. It doesn't mean they're not valuable. It means they're lost, sort of like, meandered off the track. So they didn't have a home. And the councils for Earth petitioned to bring the laggard souls here to Earth. It's considered one of the greatest acts of compassion that we've ever done. But it took us off of the vibration we were headed on. And to be completely honest, the experiment failed. We were not able to save the laggards. Our generation, Loren, is the generation that really was just being born when we took this on. So some of us married them, some of us birthed them, a lot of us had relations with them, thinking that we can lift this soul up, we can help them get back on track, and we can foster them, so to speak. It didn't work. Very, very few were saved. And most of the light workers that took on the laggards kind of went down with the ship and had to be rescued. I was one of them through an abusive marriage. So we're not doing that anymore. And most of them have been removed from the planet in some way or another that's, compassionate action for them. There's still some here, though, as you know, people still creating war and heartache for others because they believe in some level of control or manipulation gives them power. But what they don't realize is that the only way to real power is through the heart. Love is the only thing that's powerful, and they've just lost their way. So they're still, though, big enough for everybody to play here, but we're not, as a species, so to think of light workers, we're not really interacting with them in the same way anymore because the vibration of helping the earth come back on track, heal the waters, heal the air, heal the earth, is the most important thing now. The important thing is that we heal our relationship with Mother Earth and help her prepare for her ascension. We're already, Seth would say, we're already in the birth canal. So it's happening. We're having the vibrations of giving birth to the new earth. And, for most of us, we're here for the long haul. Seth would tell you that never before in any galactic history has a planet ascended with people in human form aboard. It's never happened. Hasn't been done. So, but you probably know, we've been just, pummeled with solar energy for many years now, and it's just getting more and more intense. So if you're a light worker and you've committed to the cause and you're building your light body with intention, you're working to create light in your body, you're going to be okay. You're going to go through some trials and tribulations, but you're going to be okay. And you're going to come through it and probably very realistically make the transition with the earth as she is reborn. But other people that haven't been on that path, that are experiencing this pummeling, this cascading of light, are kind of going nuts. You look around, right? There's people killing each other and they're going crazy in the streets, and more than usual, more than has been in probably the last 200 years. Those people are having a challenge with so much light coming in to their body that isn't ready, kind of like sticking your finger in the light socket, So we should pray for them, and of course we should love them. And everybody, of course, will make their transition either off of the earth or take the earth through the pathway. And it'll all be perfect and right for them. There's no right or wrong. Seth always says all paths lead home. And Source loves everybody equally, so everybody will receive compassionate action that's appropriate for them. Okay? So, is that helpful?
It is very helpful, and I know that many, if not every person who is watching this is well aware of their own commitment in this incarnation. And we've heard that this incarnation is the most important incarnation. This is the most important life that we have. So that's very fascinating because we are here to ascend with the body, and that does mean remembering our galactic lineage.
Absolutely.
That is part of the journey as well. And so to hear you talk about this, it's very, I would say that I could sense that others are getting a clue now. They're getting a clue to why they resonate with certain things, why they resonate with cats in the way they do.
Right.
Would this mean that that's an indicator of where we are from? I know you said to go into the heart, but it's also, where do we have characteristics of
Yes. Yeah.
Pleiadians or Sirians and
Yes.
Andromedans?
There'll be a resonance. There'll absolutely be a resonance when we take these journeys and when we stop off in these different dimensional places and meet the emissaries of these different worlds of form. You'll be exploring your own Akashic records, and beings will come forward. For some people, they'll have direct conversations with them. The very worst case scenario is that Seth is going to guide you. If you come through, let's say, into the second class, on the second Sunday and you still don't feel that you've, been able to identify where you were before, Seth will help you. Just give you that information so that you can sort of set your feet in motion and you can continue to explore your own journey, so to speak. So it's about helping you learn how to live and be on this planet with a higher vibration of love, knowing the support that you have, knowing that you can make contact. I mean, with your real family. This is your real family. Your biological family is very, very seldom part of your star family. If we look at most families, I'm going to say there's, maybe an 80% chance that one member of your biological family is also going to be a star family member. Most of us were set into families where we could serve. We could really bring in the information from where we were, and knowing we'd feel like a black sheep before we're ever born, but we wouldn't necessarily fit in. But we would able to alter perhaps the path of those that were, kind of headed into darkness, that hadn't really remembered yet how to come into their heart and to fill their heart with love to find their mission. Because we all have different missions, not just one thing. We're here to do many things, but we all have a vibrational pathway that, when you're doing something or you meet someone or you go somewhere and all of a sudden you just sort of lose time, it just feels so good. And it's almost like the people you're talking to, or you just have known them forever. You don't have to go have coffee for, 8 times before you can invite them over. You just sort of pick up where you left off, and they know you and you know them. That's really kind of one of the things I think is so beneficial from this type of class. It has helped me find so much of my star family. So many people that are a part of our team now. Some of them travel with me. Some of them create classes with me. People like Loren, we just have a resonance. We just sort of know each other, and we have rapport, so to speak, to go and create things for the planet that hasn't been done before. It's exciting, isn't it?
It's exciting and very comforting. And you're right. We can all look at, I guess for me, it was probably in 2008, I really began to find, I guess you could say, cosmic family, soul family.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness for the internet, which is multidimensional in its own right. In its purity, it's multidimensional because so many connections have been made where I have felt close to my Lemurian family, and we never even met in person. We have
Right.
now, but in the beginning, we never did. So this is the indicator how you can just come and talk for hours in the first time you meet, because that's a remembrance. So it's really beautiful. And to know that we have the support, that it's not just our birth families here. No wonder so many of us have felt like the black sheep, as you mentioned. In your own experience, Laurie, can you share what it was like in your journey to meet beings as you went through this process yourself? And what do you know about yourself? You're very Pleiadian, I'm guessing.
Well, we all have Pleiadian energy. We all do. I would say at least 10% of every single person is Pleiadian. They seeded our hearts.
Really?
They were actually even a separate experiment before the 12 different races came in that are ascended to assist us. So in many ways, we're considered the golden child by the rest of the galaxy because we've received the finest attributes from 12 dimensional worlds of form into our body. And true, much of it is unawakened yet, but it's going to create this huge opportunity for us to, we're already expanding at sort of light speed. We're evolving. Seth was saying just this week that in the last 50 years, the heart coherence on the planet has come to 48%. And before that, it took, 5,000 years for us to move up 10%. And now that's happened in 50 years. So imagine what's going to happen in the next 5 years or the 10 years. The coherence of the planet in the sense of people being in their heart and being compassionate and loving and forgiving and following a path of illumination is rising every day in spite of what you might see on the news. It's happening. People are awakening. And the crystalline, so the carbon-based molecule that we're basically set in motion, which is the water molecule, is transforming. And it's becoming a crystalline molecule, which again is your true self. In your true self, you're emanating from a light body, which is crystalline. So most of this started in the sense of creating the body we're in now, when the crystalline grid was put in place. And that started, I think, in 1987, and it completed maybe 2000, 2001. So the magnetic grid is breaking down, the crystalline grid is intact, and everybody's experiencing now a different level of consciousness, and that's just going to continue to rise. So for me, basically it started in 94 when I had a near-death experience, and I saw so much of what I'm describing to you, not so much from a star family perspective, but from just the history of the Earth is sort of shown to you. And at that point, you remember that you know on the other side, you already know all of this. So everybody became, when I came back, everybody became really important. What I would like to say that you shouldn't have to have a near-death experience to come to a place of parenting yourself and to monitoring every thought, word, and deed using the vibration of love. And for me, it was a lot of building self-love that I didn't necessarily feel that. I was always in competition, I said, with myself, even as a child. I was a perfectionist, so I was unhappy all the time because you're never good enough, right? There's always more to do, or you miss that, or you miss that. So being driven, so to speak. And I know my mother, God bless her, she tried so hard to get me to calm down, to take that out of me, to tell me, you don't have to have straight A's. You don't have to sell the most Girl Scout cookies, everything. And later that translated into me as a dancer and a choreographer and running a school and taking the kids to competitions. You had to win, all of that. So unbelievably uncomfortable when you come back to the fact that we're already perfect. We already have everything within us that we need to be who we are. Sure, there's challenges. I'm not saying they're not, but you go through them differently, and you go through them with compassion and love as opposed to this competitive spirit, or also the sense of worthiness of not being good enough. All of that can be dispelled when you contact your star family, because they'll talk to you about your own self-empowerment and how incredibly proud they are of you that you took the journey to Earth, to come here, to have these experiences. And they're so supportive of you. And a lot of people, after taking the class or classes with Seth, they come into some type of communication that is telepathy, really, with the family. And they'll sit and meditate, and they'll get messages and talk to them. Other people will do it through dreams, other people through journaling. When you make contact, it's absolutely phenomenal. It really is. It's just a wonderful experience.
So it's really comforting and beautiful to know that we are the golden children, the golden child.
Yes.
Of 12 different dimensional star races, and that we are perfect, that we just have to reactivate this. When we make contact, I've been with people and seen that they are making contact, and the question would come up, how do we do this ourselves, and how do we trust it? I think the trust level is one where some would just begin to doubt, but there's a sense of knowingness within this.
Well, and again, it's back to the heart. If you literally have navigated your consciousness into your heart, and you've turned off the analytical process, you will trust, because the prana, the codes of creation, the life force that will flow through you will come through this area of truth, where I call it solution energy, is there. And you'll be able to ask questions, not only of the starseed family, but of your guides. You'll have a better communication with your guides, which will translate into practicality in your everyday life, so that you can explore dimensional travel and dimensional experiences while being in the third dimension, which gives us that what we're talking about now, multidimensional aspects of ourselves, to see and sense ourselves in many places that sort of be at the same time. And the truth and the coherence of that will come through you. And you will identify with a world of form, so to speak. Some of those, we didn't talk about all of them. I'm just going to list them. The Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Andromedans, Alpha Centauri, the cetacean world of dolphins and whales, the Lyrans. Now that goes for the other side of the galaxy. You go through the black hole at the 10th dimension, and you come into the 12th dimensional world of the Lyrans. Cats are often associated as being Lyran. Arcturian and angelic. Also elemental beings. Elemental beings are aspects of the Elohim, which come through Orion, but they're also sometimes just pure light. I have friends here that are actually Elohim, and they're usually quiet people because they have so much power, and they're sometimes they're afraid to step into it a little bit because they have so much power, because they come from that God force. And then the elementals. I have some friends that are elementals, the fairies and the gnomes, and they're incredible too. They have so many gifts. They're so connected to the earth. Thank God we have them. They take care of, the farming and the food and the trees and all of that. It's just wonderful. So we all have these diverse applications of who we are. You mentioned me being on my journey. Well, I originally thought for many years after the dolphins and whales contacted me and I started to work with them and I started to channel them and create retreats that I was Sirian. I just thought I was for a very long time. And then I got guided to go to the Hopi land in Arizona. Some of you may know about that. The Hopi land is laid out exactly like the constellation of Orion, where all of the villages and where the people have lived uh, from ancient times correspond to the stars. So I went there with a couple of friends who also teach and study the Akashic records, and we sat actually on the three Hopi 1, 2, and 3 village sites that correspond to the three stars of the belt of Orion. And then that night, it just came through with my friend who also is the Akashic records, and she started to channel Seth, and she was very clear, and she said, "No, you spent a lot of time in the Sirian system helping with the genetics, but you're actually from Orion, and you're actually from the third star, which makes you from the future." In the sense of timelines, I've come here, as many people have, to work with the vibration of what's to come, sort of to prepare classes, workshops, whatever, retreats, modalities that will help people step into their future with more self-empowerment. So that was actually, I would say, my true world of form from this galaxy, from the experiences of coming here and before here. So kind of exciting.
Well,
And
I really can sense that people are ready for this on a whole new level, and how it is the advanced work that we do as we become to know ourselves, who we truly are. We are more than just here in this physical body. So now I see the importance of understanding this and how we know what we know within ourselves. And
yes,
so learning to trust that with these connections and working with the guides and the beings who will come to us to share. I know in my own journey, I've had that experience as well, but my ego mind is the problem, where it just comes to not trust. So I'm at that phase where I'm still learning to trust it a little bit more. And little by little, I am able to do that. I am able to sense the wisdom and the beings who are here to support. So it's really beautiful, Laurie. Thank you. Tell us about this course, because this is the nuts and bolts of learning how to make that contact and go through the Akashic records. And it just seems beautiful. And we are building our light body as well while we're still in physical form. And that's really how we're going to be aware more of this contact as well. So we build the light body through the heart.
absolutely. We build our light body through the heart, and we build our light body through intention to carry more light. And you might ask, well, what is light? Well, light is wisdom. Light is information, and everyone wants that. So the amount of light that your physical body is able to carry and that your soul can maintain, so to speak, is a direct vibration of who you are in this moment in your evolutionary journey. So in order to ascend, so to speak, when this earth experience is over, we'll be in a light body. Well, the physical form will, again, the carbon-based molecule will completely disintegrate and the water-based body will disappear and the light body appears. So we're in that stage now. And this course is a part of that. It's about having the experience of understanding that process and embracing it as opposed to fearing it. Okay? So Seth says it's a journey to really meet your galactic family, to find out your own history, especially from the starseed experiment, which happened 200,000 years ago. So you can put your feet on the ground in the sense of who I am right now on Earth, and it feels good to be here. And not only does it feel good, it's a privilege. So many souls, I learned that in 94 in my near-death experience, so many souls want to come here and be here and experience what we're experiencing now, but only so many can come. So for every one person that's here, the physical body like us, there's so many that are here in support of us. So many that just, are available to you through this self-empowerment process of returning to the heart and opening to their wisdom, opening to the support. Just your guide team alone. We did this class yesterday on guides. When you're born, you're a package of 4, according to Seth. There's 3 guides in you, and they never leave you. They're here all the time. 3 other very evolved beings are here with you right now. And when you open to that, imagine how your life can change. Now, they won't take your free will away. They won't make decisions for you. You get that part. But they'll do the research, they'll educate you, they'll share with you, they'll support you, so that your decision making and where you go and what you do becomes so much easier with that kind of support. So all of this information and this vibration we're talking about leads to that. So, and then I think that probably one of the most important parts of the class is I share the channeling, the original channeling, from what Seth calls the creation story of how it happened and all of the details of it. That's really empowering. And we go into the information about the 12 races, which helps you identify. The second week is more, and again, this is February 19th and February 26th on Sunday, 2 weeks. The second week, we go into your personal part in it. You get the overview the first week so that you can put yourself into the creation story. And you can hear how incredibly empowering it is and how wonderful just the neurology of who you are, how your DNA is this mechanical system that taps into the quantum universe. And it's there. Everything you ever need or want to know is in your DNA. But you have to be aware in a sense of that, oh, wow, I'm open to calibrate it now. And one, of course, the greatest ways to do that, we've been shown, is through working with dolphins and whales. They're the elders, and they can really accelerate that for you. So you can be on the earth and live outside of duality, outside of judgment, outside of negativity, while being on the planet, while being in the vibration of love and solution energy. So we'll give you some tools to do that. And we'll journey to a place where one of the emissaries will connect with you on one of these worlds of form, and that you can have this deep heart connection with them. And that'll be personal to you, to each of you. Believe me, you can do it. I can hear people saying, I can't do that. Yes, you can. But you have to open to it. You have to allow for it. Okay? Yeah, it's brand new. But Seth always says, do something you're afraid of every week so that you bust through that stuff. It's like a soap bubble. Pop it. That's all it is. It's just looming out there. And once you step up and you go through it, then it becomes, wow, that was pretty cool. I did something I've never done before and I liked it. That's what we want. So we meet these different emissaries, and then we start to see in your friends and family, you'll start to look at them and see, oh, that looks like, oh, I think you're Sirian. Let's find out. You talk about it, you have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, in discovering the communication with the star family, because they love you so much. That's beyond, okay? And you have the tools then to use this in your daily life to shift your vibration. So pretty exciting, pretty exciting. I can't even tell you how much people have enjoyed, because I have, or that's why I'm doing it, is these beautiful channels that come through Seth about our history and our place in it. Very exciting.
Yeah, it's so amazing. The information that you've brought through, even on the Lemurian history and inner earth history, it's all
Yes.
from the channel. And
Yes.
it's higher realms that you are bringing this information through. It sounds really exciting. I know I would love to be there and learn from you and feel into my own heritage. And I can feel everyone wanting to do this as well. And we can see, again, why it is so important, because we will feel so confident, like you said, as we are guided on our path. The decisions that we have to make, we are going to make them from that wisdom within, from the light within. It is so beautiful, and it feels so comforting as well. It truly, truly does. So it's great that we're going to be doing 2 live webinars, and those are 2 or 3 hours long.
2.5 hours each time.
That's a significant amount of time.
Yeah, and sometimes we run late, so we're especially the second week, we're going to make sure everybody's comfortable with the information that comes through for their personal self. And between the first and second class, I'll have your names and your vibrations. So Seth will identify your starseed family to me, and I'll write it down. So I can share that with you if you're having any challenges. Okay.
Okay. So if we can't decipher that on our own, Seth will be there to assist us.
Seth will help. Absolutely. Speaking of that, I know we have to close up soon, but I had a little channel here that Seth gave
Yes,
me, and I thought maybe we could share that before we
yes,
leave.
beautiful, beautiful.
Okay. So during the year 2023 and beyond, I can share that you are destined to approach your own personal life missions differently. This year, we're going deeper with our spiritual alignment, and we are to flow with our creative forces in more spontaneous and guided ways. For some, this is a new way of doing things. I ask you now to prepare for surrender to this process of creativity, which is the expression of your soul. You are destined to become masters at manifestation in this world and to elevate the expression of the authentic you. Remember, beloved ones, that you are all starseed, and some of you are even star masters. All must embrace their life missions now at this time to be truly happy and fulfilled. You can no longer be your true authentic self if you are hiding from your own magnificence. Remember, this is the main reason for us being here. I know some of you are confused about how to embrace your highest path at this time. But know, beloveds, it has taken you many years to become who you are today, and all of the experiences that are a part of you will guide you, as your team will guide you. Now is the time to ask how you can express yourself more fully at this time. When you make a conscious choice to begin to live and create from within your heart, you release all polarity and all judgment. This is truly the only way to live a joyful and authentic life. It is time for every human to move into their hearts every day and focus all of their energy on truly knowing and loving yourself. It takes some practice to stop thinking and start feeling your way through life. However, I can promise you that the feeling state is exactly where you want to be for every challenge. You must be willing to get comfortable feeling, though you realize that you have blocked so much of what your truth is. You forgive yourself and you move into it. Much of this is due to the way your society and your culture works and the teachings that you have been given that are untruthful. However, that does not make it effective or real. Everyone intuitively knows from the heart what is best, what is true, and how to take action from the heart. However, it takes some time to trust yourself to live up to this, and this is why we're here, is to help you. If you make this choice to become a conscious creator, you will always be able to go within and to find your truth. I love you. I am Seth. Empowering, huh?
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. We are embracing our life mission and the highest path, and we are forgiving ourselves and loving ourselves and becoming a conscious creator.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes. So wonderful. We are really excited for this class, Laurie. I want to tell everyone that the information is here on this webpage. You can read more about it, feel into your heart. For me, it just feels so luscious and warm and expansive, and we are excited. So we are surrendering to this process of creativity, tuning into the wisdom of who we truly are and learning to live this way authentically. Laurie, thank you so much for this. We are very excited. Is there anything else you'd like to say as we say goodbye?
Just want to encourage people to trust what you're receiving from your heart. To, if this feels like a good fit for you, then it's time that you've come to a crossroads. You've come to a place where you're ready for this type of wisdom and you're ready to bring it into your life and implement it. If it seems to, I've heard people say airy fairy, pie in the sky, then it may not be time. And there will be a time, though, when you're ready. And there's no judgment here. Just follow your hearts and know that the beings that I work with and that I work with, we really come from the vibration of great love. And self-empowerment it's everything. It's everything to find that deeper part of you to where you feel comfortable in different situations and you can continue to expand and share your light with others. Thank you.
And we thank everyone for taking this journey to share your light with others. It is why we incarnated on this planet. And as we tune into that, it leads us even more on our mission. Thank you, Laurie, and thank you, everyone. We look forward to seeing you in this masterclass. Namaste.